Austin Glass here, owner and founder of AEG Real Estate based out of Woodtrace, and this is my 30-day review for October 15th in Woodtrace. So I'm only focusing on the homes that are behind the gates here, and I do this every single month on the 15th, or like this month, it's a little bit late because I was out of town for a couple of weeks on business. But I'm back looking at the numbers overall. Really not a huge change. So over here where my cursor is at, for me it's on the left hand side. This is last month's, and looking at last month, we had 22 active listings during the 30-day period, and this month we're looking at 17. So that can mean one of two things. We either had more closings or we just had less people putting their homes on the market. Now, I am looking at everything. What's going on in the economy, what's going on with our politics, what's going on locally, if we have stuff that's being built or whatever it may be. And historically, anytime we're looking at an election cycle coming up, especially when we're this close, usually we'll see a big slowdown. And I really have not seen the slowdown that I generally would expect. And I feel like the general consensus is we just don't have enough inventory across the board, not necessarily here in Woodtrace, but enough inventory to really slow everything down. And we had the rate decrease in the last 30 days. So that was helpful. And it's showing here as far as Woodtrace, we've kept the demand. So like I said, last month, 22 active listings. This month, 17. And as we go down and we're looking at pendings, we have 4 for the last 30 days. And the previous 30-day cycle, we had 2. So we actually have a little bit more pending activity, whether that's option pending or actually pending where the option has expired. But we're in good shape. The reduction in active listings looks like it's actually because we're having some pendings. And last month, most importantly, what sold? So we had 3 sell last month, and that would be basically 60 days ago. Or 30 to 60 days, and then 0 to 30 days we had 2. So a reduction, but not really anything that's meaningful that's going to make me think like, oh, we're having a slowdown or we're having a shift. So overall, I'm happy with these numbers, especially going into the election plus the holiday season. We should see at least one more rate cut, hopefully, before the end of the year. That'll help keep our momentum, keep the values where they're at within the community. But looking at last month, we had 4 terminated, and this month we had 4 terminated. So we're about the same there. But this month we had 3 of those come back on the market, and last month I believe we had 2 go back on the market. So again, kind of keeping it pretty average there. Anytime, if you're new here, anytime you're looking at numbers, and you can ask for these or download them from wherever you're watching this, anything that has an asterisk next to it is going to mean that it has been put back on the market, and that is going to indicate that the basically that it was taken off the market, put back on to refresh the listing, get new eyes on it. But you'll see, say, like a 10/159 DOM, days on market. And that is, it serves a couple of purposes as far as people that are terminating their listing and relisting with the same agent. That's going to allow them to go back into the ether of all the different websites where buyers are searching. Hopefully it goes out in a new email of anyone that's looking in a specific zip code or area, that they get that update of, hey, 206 Cedar Creek Court came back on the market. Or it'll say new listing since it's terminated and a whole new listing. But what's different from last month and to this month is we have 1 expired listing. Last month, we did not have any expired listings. So expired means that the contract that the listing agent had with the seller expired and it came off the market involuntarily. So it just comes off the day that it expires. I always feel kind of bad for the sellers because inevitably there will be a ton of listing agents that call them the day it expires, and then especially the days after. But luckily, most don't stay consistent with it. So you will stop getting those phone calls after a little while, usually 2 weeks or so. But as far as what I wanted to make a note of this month, I did see a home that was terminated, put back on the market. It's in the back of the community, or towards the back of the community. And they put it back on with cell phone photos. Now, a lot of people think it's whatever. Take photos however you want, throw them up on the MLS. Doesn't really matter. It does matter. The way that you present your home online is going to be your first impression, with most buyers finding the homes that they want to go view before their agent ever does, because let's be real, most people are addicted to sitting there looking at HAR or Zillow or Redfin. They sit and look at it all day if they're in that phase of looking to buy a home. Don't hire agents that have a history of bad or poor marketing. And I'll give you kind of an example of this where it's going to affect your bottom line. So if you have the absolute best marketing in the community and you're able to stand out by having good staging, good marketing, you have your open houses going, it's just consistently showing well, whether that be online and in the first impression or throughout the process, and it's been on the market for 150 days. Either way, you want it to look its best, because we have a pretty decent amount of inventory in Woodtrace at any given time. And if you have the crappy marketing and everybody else has great marketing, generally it's not going to sit well with the buyer. Or they're going to look at it and say, hey, this agent doesn't seem to care much about this listing. So maybe they'll come in and write a lowball offer, lower offer, try to negotiate for some concessions, because how you present your listing, or how your listing agent presents your listing, we read into it as much as we possibly can to try and get buyers. Say if I'm representing a buyer, that's exactly what I'm going to say. Hey, this person has been on the market a really long time. They came off of the market and right back on within a day or two, so they're still motivated to get this thing sold, but not really much of a price adjustment. The listing agent doesn't seem to care much. They just threw some photos up. They didn't even pay for any marketing. So that's where we would go in and probably lowball on that home. So make sure that you're hiring an agent that has a track record of great marketing. That's 3D tours, that's photos, that's video, anything you possibly can, because you only need one buyer. Yes, attract as many as you can. Creating that demand is what's going to drive your value. But looking at what's been happening in our neighborhood, the homes that are not being marketed very well, they are consistently expiring and getting terminated, because we have 5 to 12 homes in each section that would fit a buyer's criteria. And if yours doesn't stand out, it's going to sit, or it's not going to sell for as much as you might like. So try and avoid the high days on market. Get your pricing right. Hire the right agent that's going to get it done for you. I specialize in digital marketing, direct-to-consumer digital marketing. It's really a big deal to me that I tell a story about a home, as far as through video, showing what the lifestyle might look like, instead of just showing the home, because people don't just buy a home for the inside of it. They buy it to go to a school around town, be close to their favorite restaurants, their favorite activities. And here we need to showcase the lake, everything that we offer. So that's one thing I will say. Make sure that you're standing out against the neighbors, as far as if you have other listings you're competing against, could even be on your same street. Look at what they're doing. If they're staged, you should at least be staged. If they have great landscaping, hardscaping in the front backyard, make sure that you have something similar, or at least very well kept, so that way it's a blank slate and ready for the buyer that's coming in. But overall, looking at the last 30 days, not much of a huge change. Average days on market hasn't shifted much. We're looking at overall average, we're looking at 113 days on market. And last month we were sitting at 93 days on market. Again, not a huge shift. One listing can really affect that whole thing. Like the one that has 358 days on market, that can swing it pretty significantly. So 28 listings in total, 31 last time, not much of a change. So again, my name's Austin Glass, the AEG Real Estate. I do these every single month, so if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. And if you want any other information, or you're thinking about listing your home, you can contact me. My information will be below the video. I'll see you next month.